Like,
And
are we just upset that people are going on walks, Justin?
nah, it's just I haven't lived someplace where that's been the norm before. It's kind of weird. What up? What up?
He said, "What's up?"
He can't hear.
Nope.
But yeah, there's a guy. He walks his two dogs. He always stops in front of my house. They always pee in my yard, and I'm a little bothered by it.
Yeah.
Which also, my grass is about 10 inches high right now.
I was about to say, it sounds like you're getting old. It sounds like you're, just showing your age here, buddy. Get off my lawn. How dare you kids walk down.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, because I had seen him stop in front of my house multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And then today, I went out to grab an Amazon package, and I was like, oh, your dog's peeing in my yard. And I got a video recorder, so it's recording all the time. I can go back and look, and I'm like, this guy,
Yeah.
every day between 7:30 and 7:40 walks past my house, and his dog's pee in my yard.
You've watched How I Met Your Mother, right?
What?
Have you watched How I Met Your Mother?
I've watched a lot of episodes, but in no real order.
There's an episode where this guy, the whole episode opens up with it, like this guy, he's out over his apartment, and he's got some binoculars looking down the window to the street, and his wife goes, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "There's this guy outside, and every night at exactly 8:14 p.m., he comes out here, and he just stands there. He just stands there and just does nothing, and then smiles, and then goes back inside." And like the whole episode, like the stuff is going on, but like every 20 or 5 minutes, it goes back to that guy. And the wife is like, "Seriously, honey, you got to get help." And he's just like, but he's still there. At the very end of the episode, you just find out the guy is just taking fart breaks from his new girlfriend and everything, and he just that's all it is. Yeah, the wife at the very end is like, I can't take this anymore, honey. I'm leaving. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be my mother's. Yeah,
that's me obsessing over my neighbor's dogs peeing in my yard.
hello and hello. It is May 22nd, and welcome to the Always More podcast, where we believe there is always more room at the table for honest questions, meaningful conversations, and deeper understanding. Today on the pod, we are talking about finding $40,000 in cash, Aileen Cannon, Indian John Wick, AI, and so much more. But first, I am your host, Tim Lichty, and joining me from I'm now assuming it's getting warmer lands of Wisconsin, that is my friend, my colleague, Justin Johnson.
Warmer is relative. It was like 80 and then it was 50. So the cold is holding on. It's struggling. It's slowly fading away, but it keeps coming back. My heat's probably going to kick on tonight. The lows it's the low of 44 tonight. So,
It's so wild to me that people I get it. There are cities up there now, but what really made us want to choose to live so far up north? Have you ever seen Alaska, for example? That is so far up there. There's people that live in the Arctic Circle, where there's 3 months out of the year you don't see the sun. It's just
that sounds amazing.
Well, Justin, I'm so happy you think that. You dark soul.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The summers here are beautiful. Nothing tops a Midwest summer. You guys are going into hell.
It's true.
And
it's true.
Yeah, I'm going to be down there in a couple weeks, and I'm already dreading it.
Yeah, I love the idea of even a California summer where it's good 80s kind of thing. That to me is probably the good perfect blend of things. I like 90. I don't mind 90 degrees, but once it's 110 degrees for 3 months out of the year, like it was I think a year or two ago, that was intense.
Yeah, 2022. That was when I was like, I got to get out of here. It was too much. It was too much. It was we had 27 straight days of over 100-degree temperatures.
Literally.
And the day that broke it was 99.
Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. I remember the pool in my apartment was like warm bath water. It wasn't even cold anymore. It was a rough experience.
Yeah.
Like you saw the water line going down in the
Right.
pool because it was evaporating. Like it was
Just
truly insane.
just going so quick. Oh man. Well, hey guys, tonight we got a show for you, or today, whatever time you're listening here. As you can hear and tell, it's just me and Justin right now. Christopher is running a little bit behind. He is actually moving this weekend. Justin was moving last time we recorded, and now it's Chris's turn. And so he is running late. He will probably pop in somewhere in the middle of this episode, but at the moment it is just Justin and myself. So, Justin, you ready to get this thing popping?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, it's our time. It's time for our first segment. And it's the one, the only, and the truly Rec and Rev. This is the part of the show where we like to recommend and review some things. And since there's only two of us, Justin, I'm giving you the honors going first.
Well, that's unfortunate because I was going to come up with something on the spot.
Well, I can go first then while you come up with your thing.
Wait. Okay. So I haven't watched anything really because moving.
Yeah.
I just got my stuff set up this week that I could actually like use my TV again. Um, but music, we've had some good releases recently. If you're into heavy music, Knocked Loose just dropped their newest album last Friday, and it is definitely up there for album of the year for me. It's called You Won't Go Before Before You're Supposed to, and it is excellent, flawless, no skips whatsoever.
Wow.
It's short though. That's the part that sucks. It's let's see, I had it pulled up.
Is this like one of those 8-track ones?
No, it's 10 songs, but I think it was only like it's under half an hour.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty short. Also in a similar vein, the band Dance Gavin Dance, who is notorious for their singer drama, recently kicked out their third/fourth singer, depending on how you look at it.
See, these bands are chicken. They just need to pull out a Fleetwood Mac and just like create some stellar albums while they're still all mad at each other.
Well, here's the thing. So they kicked them out, and then the remaining member, one of who's the frontman of another band, he just did 2 songs with them, which he'd done vocals, but he hadn't been like his own songs. So they put out 2 songs. One was called Speed Demon, which was amazing. The other was called something else, which was also good, but not as amazing as Speed Demon, obviously, because I don't remember the name of it at this moment. Straight from the heart. But my recommendation isn't to just go on Spotify and listen to the songs. It's to go on YouTube and watch the music video for both of them because it's batshit and it's awesome.
Okay. Noted. All right. It's so funny that you bring this up because I feel like I thought about this like a couple months ago about how like I don't really hear that much rock music anymore. Like new stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously not in brand anymore. There's more pop these days. There's more, these other indie rock kind of things. But like no like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I do know what you're talking about.
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, as a guitar player, like I definitely noticed the depth of the guitar in radio music.
Right.
Like when we were in high school, like I remember driving to prom and Thanks for the Memories came on the radio, and so it's like, okay, I remember I was driving my dad's car, so it was just like I was stuck with the radio. And it's like, hey, we had music back then on the radio that was like heavy guitar driven. And that when I was in high school, it was a lot of Foo Fighters. That's when All My Life came out. Pretender, was that when I was in high school? Maybe college. Who knows? But like all of that was popular, and then it moved into a more of a pop era. And it was a tangible effect in the music industry. We saw guitar sales nosedive by like 60-something% over the course of a decade. And only recently have I felt like we've started to see guitar pop up more in mainstream music. And then you're getting weird, heavier bands getting like more mainstream success now where they can sell out arenas, which wasn't a thing when I was in high school. You didn't have like Bring Me the Horizon is like huge now. And, when I was in college, they were just like this tiny little deathcore band that was doing, I don't know, 500 cap rooms. And now they can do arenas in the UK. It's insane.
It is. Yeah. So so of course when I started thinking these thoughts, TikTok algorithm did its magic and started showing me like people who were recommending like new like rock artists. And so like I started compiling a list. Like there's bands like Sincere Engineer, Good Kid, Tiny Moving Parts, Moonwalker. Have you heard any of these?
Yes, Tiny Moving Parts I've been a fan of for a while. They've been around for a long
They have been.
uh, time. Sincere Engineer, ironically, I'm pretty sure, wasn't that the name of a song?
It might be.
No, I'm thinking of Honey Revenge. Honey Revenge is the name of a song by Dance Gavin Dance, but they're also a band who's been blowing up on TikTok. Sincere Engineer, yes. Their album, what was that album? Bless My Psyche.
Uh-huh.
I was playing that one a lot for a while.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was just kind of fun. Just like I love how. See, that's why it's so magic about TikTok. It's like you can literally just be like, you know, I want to hear more rock music, and you just start getting that more in your algorithm. And so I've been collecting more and more into my playlist, and just putting on shuffle every once in a while. But that's not my rec and rev. But good recommendation there, sir. All right, mine is a movie that just came out that's been in the process of being made for about a decade, if I understand it correctly. It's a movie called Monkey Man. Have you heard of this?
Yes, I have. I
Have you
have
seen it?
not seen it, but
Oh,
I've heard good things about it.
yes. Okay, so this is directed and written by Dev Patel, and produced by Jordan Peele. This movie, here's a quick synopsis. Kid, an anonymous young man who ekes out a meager living in an underground fight club where night after night wearing a gorilla mask, he is beaten bloody by more popular fighters for cash. After years of suppressed rage, Kid discovers a way to infiltrate the enclave of the city's sinister elite. As his childhood trauma boils over, his mysteriously scarred hands unleash an explosive campaign of retribution to settle the score with the men who took everything from him. And this film is incredible. It is like a new John Wick, but Indian. And it is the fighting style in this movie reminds me of Bourne Ultimatum. And it's just a beautiful clash of good storytelling and just really great action. And you don't get a good combination of those these days, like, or at least not a lot. It's pretty rare. And so it has Jordan Peele's backing with it. When Dev was working on it originally, he had gotten a lot of things filmed, and then COVID happened, and so Jordan Peele kind of came in on the scene and helped him out. And well worth the money, well worth him working behind him, and it was just fantastic. I highly recommend this film if you're a good action fan.
All right. Well, it's on my list. I'll
Noted.
definitely check it out.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we're going to move along. We got one more little tiny little segment. Crystal hasn't joined us, but I think we can still play this game, and I think we can maybe do like best how many to do we can out of three, because we got a game returning for us called Got It, and it's where we try to guess the same word as what we're thinking. And basically, the way we would do it if we had three players is we would see which partner team gets it the best, but we're trying to guess the word in as little guesses as possible. So, Justin, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can do this. I'm gonna say we should make a goal to get it in three. Like that's our goal.
That's tough.
That's what I'm gonna try. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Pencil. Oh, that was a thought that popped in my head actually a moment before, but I was like, that's too like on the nose because I was holding it.
Yeah, mine's right here.
Okay. Okay, I got it. You ready?
I don't know if your brain's going the same way mine's going. We'll try it.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Stylus.
iPad.
Oh!
Yeah, we're almost there. We're almost there. Wait. You said get it in 3?
Yeah.
We could get it in 3 if you take your word and my word and.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
3, 2, 1. Apple pen.
Apple pencil. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Like when you said
it.
pencil, I went, oh, iPad. Yeah.
We're in the same ballpark. We were there.
Yeah, I don't use paper anymore for much of anything.
I,
I'm fully in the digital age, man.
I know.
If my notes can be backed up to the cloud, they're gonna be even handwritten. It's all good.
Yeah, I only use it for convenience sake when I'm at work, but like most of the stuff, if I want to remember things, it's all on my phone. I can't
I
do
do
it.
have a tiny little black book that I write measurements in when I'm on job sites.
Oh, okay.
Um, so like if I have to measure rooms, like I have a laser and I'll just like shoot it across the room to figure out like, oh, you're 57 feet and 4 and 11, 12 inches. Like,
Yeah,
some random bit of information like that. But, knowing how wide and high rooms are is weirdly important for my
I would say that's. I don't think it's weirdly important. I think it's pretty important.
shapes. It's really shapes. Like, man, there's a building that has 3 like curved sections in this room, and it makes for the weirdest acoustics ever. Like if you stand on the opposite side of the room and somebody at one end of the curve goes, it's a narrow curve, but if you stand a long ways at opposite sides of it, you can hear it like you're next to the person.
Hmm.
It's the most acoustically baffling both decision architecturally and just running audio in that room, which is several times a month. It's like, oh, well,
Wow.
it is what it is.
Yeah. That's such an interesting job to think about because it's like just being an engineer and architect in general when it comes to like, especially with stadiums or like venues like that, because there's so many things at play. The fabric on the walls or on the floors, the angles of the seating, and just all that stuff guys going to play because everything bounces around and sometimes nothing's direct. And like, have you seen? I know this doesn't actually have anything to do with sound, but like, have you seen some people take pictures at like theaters or at stadiums where they're like behind like this random pole or like they're behind like the box seating or whatever it is, and it's like there just wasn't an extra level of thought. And I just think about that all the time when I think about architecture. It's like how much thought actually came into play here.
Well, it's interesting because I was at the Brewers Stadium today for an event that I was running audio for. And so we're like in the stands. It's like a small ceremony for a college. And I don't know why they used to do it at the Brewer Stadium. Who knows? But there's like 2 baseball players on the field throwing a ball, and the crack of like the catch was so loud that at times it was overpowering my powered system. Like
That's
I got
crazy.
speakers and a microphone, and the crack from them, like probably 100 yards away,
Wow.
because they were on the field, and it's designed to like acoustically amplify the sounds,
Uh huh.
was just disturbingly overwhelming. Also, just like, why are you guys here? We're doing an event, and they're just throwing a baseball back and forth, and I'm like, and like people kept turning because sometimes it'll be fine and be like super loud, and you're like, oh,
That's fun. All right. How about okay? We did it in one round. You want to do 2 more just for funsies?
oh, sure. I mean, I feel like we're gonna be disappointed now.
I know we set ourselves up. All right. I heard Chris, so I'm sure we're going to see him in a second. So I guess let's do this. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Blinds.
Camera.
Okay. I think we could do this. I think we
Okay.
can do this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
3.
Wait.
Oh, wait.
Wait. I just realized that my thought and your thought are 100% not the same thought.
What do you mean?
Okay. No, okay, it's fine. Let's go with it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Shutter.
Office.
What'd you say?
Shutter? Yeah. No, my brain that makes a lot of sense. Honestly, my thought was the room I'm in. There's blinds behind me. There's a camera in front of me. I'm in my office. Nah.
You said
yeah,
office?
Shutter.
Oh.
Yeah. Nah, Shutter makes a lot of sense. Way more sense than what I said. Don't listen to me. All right.
Man, I thought I was going to connect with you there, man. I thought we were going to get it in 2.
No, man, we were not on the same wavelength this time.
Okay, you said office. I said shutter. Crap. Where do we go from here? Man. I don't know where we go from here. Okay, you know what? There's the only logical explanation where we can go from here. Office. But no, not Shutter. Okay, I'm just going to say a word, and we might have to. This one's probably going to be bad.
Oh yeah, I ruined this one. Okay.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Window.
Door.
Oh, but look at us.
Okay.
Window and door. I feel like there's a word in there that I could use, but it's technically cheating. You have a word?
I've got 2 words.
Okay, I'm thinking the same thing. I think we should just do it. I don't care if it's cheating.
Okay.
3,
Okay.
2, 1. Glass door.
Open.
Oh, wait, what? You said 2
I'll
words.
take open. You open a window. You open a door.
But you said 2 words. I thought you were talking about glass door.
Oh no, I had 2 words in my head.
Oh, like
2 different ones. There's open and there's the opposite of open. But
Oh God.
Yeah, we're not in sync this time. Like we ruined it. Like we like hit the peak, and then now we're like Michael Jordan coming back to play for the Washington Wizards. Like it's nowhere near as good as it was like the first time around.
Okay, you said open, and I said glass door. Let's look. Hey, let's just take it where it needs to go. We have this. Think about it. The door is open. Ready?
I have no idea where
The glass door is open. There's only one place where this can go.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. My brain is just like stuck on Ted Lasso.
We got this. Just do it, okay? Glass door open. 3, 2, 1. Outdoors.
No. I'm like I have no idea where you're going. Because when I'm thinking glass door, I'm thinking my brain is still stuck on office. I'm like a glass door in an office, like in Ted Lasso, like what's her face's office with the see? You're like thinking a house. I'm thinking an office still. We're in entirely different buildings, man.
All right. Okay. Enough of this madness. We did it. We did it in the first try. Like we got 3 in the first try.
Left it alone. We should have just left it alone.
We should have left it alone. All right. Well, hey guys, we will drop that where it is, and maybe here in a second, Chris will join us. But we're going to move on to our main segment and talk about some news items that are surrounding us as we talk. We'll be right back. Thank you all for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave a rating on your favorite podcast platform and YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at AlwaysMorePod.
If you'd like to ask us a question for us to answer on the pod, you can email us at alwaysmorepodcast@gmail.com, or you can call us on our Always More hotline and leave a voicemail question at 254-218-4042.
You can also follow all of our social medias individually and as the Always More podcast. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to it.
All right, everyone, we are back. And joining us for the main segment and for the rest of the show is Christopher Thomas Ford. Welcome, good sir.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back, buddy.
I missed you.
I know, man.
Sorry I wasn't here for the beginning. I heard it was really fun.
Dude, 3 guesses. 3 guesses. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the second round, though.
No.
The second round.
What happened the second round?
Nothing good.
We had the perfect setup, too.
And you guys missed it. You biffed.
We weren't in the same building is the problem. We had like similar things, but he was like a house and I was like an office building. And so the words weren't lining up.
Just wasn't matching.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Hey, today on this main segment episode, we are going to talk about some random news things that we found online or just things that we want to talk about in general because That's what we do. And so would anyone like to go first, or would you like me to take this thing going and start spinning it?
You go for it.
All right. Are you ready for this headline?
I'm just happy to be here, Tim.
I know you are, buddy.
All right, tell me the headline. I have no idea what it is.
A woman gave herself poop transplants using her brother's feces to treat...
Nope. Stop.
Okay, I actually remember this story. Keep going.
No, please don't.
to treat debilitating IBS. And then she started getting acne just like him. So, as a college student, Danielle Kopke started experiencing irritable bowel syndrome symptoms, including indigestion, stabbing pains from trapped gas, and severe constipation. When nothing seemed to help after 5 years of doctor visits, she decided to try an experimental treatment called a fecal microbiota, or otherwise known as do-it-yourself poop transplant, where a healthy donor's feces is introduced into a patient's gut to repopulate it with, quote, good, unquote, microbes. She used her brother and her boyfriend as donors. She told the Netflix documentary Hack Your Health, or that's who she told it to. FMTs are only approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for C. diff bacterial infections, but scientists are looking into them as a potential treatment for many conditions, including depression, as growing research suggests there's a link between gut health and mental and physical health conditions.
No, sir. No, I'm not going to let you guys get away with this. We're not going to pretend this is a normal thing. She took someone else's poop and put it inside her body, which means that she either A, ate someone else's poop in the hopes that she would feel better, or B, and I think the worst option, she gave herself a poop enema, not to clear herself out of her own poop, but to put someone else's poop in her butt like a suppository. Neither one of those options is okay. I fear that the one she chose was the worst option. It's not going to work.
I don't know if that's worse,
wait. Sorry. Which one is the worst option?
Yeah, I would say down up the butt. I don't think it's the worst one.
I feel like that's the better option.
I think so too.
I don't agree.
I mean, like, unless you're taking a pill, like capsule of some sort, I don't think that's better.
Wait, she wasn't?
I don't know. Let me keep reading. While some of her symptoms got better, she said she also started experiencing acne like her brother and later depression like her boyfriend.
You don't get depression. You know, actually, no. If you're at the point in your life where you're putting someone else's poop in your butt, you definitely probably have depression. So I mean, that's not how depression works. It's not something you can catch like that. But
I mean, chemicals, man, right?
No, Tim. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
So a similar experience was documented in the 2023 documentary Designer Shit. A man in his mid-30s with Crohn's disease did a do-it-yourself poop transplant using his mom as a donor for years. They appeared to ease his gut symptoms.
Did you just say years?
Yes, I sure did. They appeared to ease his gut symptoms, but he experienced menopause symptoms such as sweating, hot flashes, and mood swings similar to his menopausal mom.
Do you remember secrets?
What do you mean?
Pepperidge Farm remembers when we all had secrets. You could not torture this information out of me. If I had ever done anything like this, you could not torture it out of me. They'd be like, hey, I heard you had poop transplants. I'd be like, you shut your whore mouth. Whoever told you that is a liar.
I feel like if I was, just a little drunk, I'd be like, hey, you want to hear something stupid?
Note to self, get Justin drunk. See what happens.
Oh, man. All right.
It is a choice.
It is a choice. She said that she turned to poop transplants because she felt like there were no other options. Experts in the documentary warned against trying poop transplants at home because there is a risk of transferring bad microbes and Just
Yeah,
all kind of
They
diseases.
they said at home, like they specified at home. Like it's fine to do it at a doctor's office, but don't do it at home.
I mean, I assume they have some sort of.
There's science behind it somewhere, right?
There's not. There can't be. I feel like this was somebody that was about to lose their medical license. And they're like, you know what? Since I'm losing it anyway, let me screw with the whole medical field. I've been doing some real research into poop transplants. It's the best way to cure any stomach ailment you have.
Yeah.
Try it yourself first.
Oh, I didn't even see this. Oh, okay. So I see what happened. So she was using one for a while. It wasn't working. So that's when she decided to switch donors and for a few months used her boyfriend's poop. Okay. Okay.
This
So-
isn't working, putting poop inside my butt.
It's not working with this person.
Let
Let's try
me
a different
try
person.
someone else's poop.
Over time, I realized my depression was worse than it's ever been in my life, she said. She believes whatever microbes were playing a role in his depression were transplanted into her.
That's not how that works. That's not. You're depressed because you're putting poop in your butt.
It gets better. Then,
Poop comes out of your butt. It doesn't go in your butt.
then once again, she switched back to her brother's poop.
What?
She said depression went away within a week.
I hate this. I hate everything about this. Look, guys, you know me. You know I'm usually a fan of a good poop story. This is not a good poop story. This is a bad poop story. This is
Why
bad.
is it a bad poop story? I think this is a good poop story because
It's a lesson learned.
It's not because she went back to her boyfriend or her brother. She didn't learn her lesson at all. I think she just enjoyed putting poop in her butt. You can just say that.
I'm sure that's a fetish somewhere. Don't at me. Don't. Please don't. I don't need to know.
That's not
Don't.
something we want our
No.
fans to inform us on.
For all of our sakes.
Just let us be ignorant on this one topic. Give us peace.
For this last part, and then we can end it here. Gilbert said that according to his research, people with depression are missing certain bacteria from their gut. She may have had the antidepressant bacteria in her gut, but when she swapped her microbiome with his, her antidepressant bacteria got wiped out. End article.
I feel like sometimes scientists are just like, yeah, that might have happened. Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
That's one possible explanation.
I don't think there's any peer research in this one. All right. Well, hey, I mean, it's a wild thing to think about, though, right? I mean, like,
It's a wild thing to admit to. I would be dead before you found that out.
can you like? It is okay. Let me preface this by saying I'm not condoning this. However,
We at the Always More podcast are not condoning this.
it is wild that we were able to just switch body parts and like, hey, you need a kidney? Take mine. Like,
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, the body's like, hey, you're really not supposed to be here.
Yeah,
we
you
do it.
should.
Sure.
I mean, if you do that, you have to take anti-rejection medication for like the rest of your life,
yeah, but like,
which is significantly shortened by that surgery.
yeah, but I mean, still kind of.
But I mean, it is cool that it works.
It works
for a while. I
It's
feel
kind
like
of wild.
I feel like the donation thing should be easier. Like, you got a kidney, I need a kidney. Let's just do this. Like, I shouldn't have to find a perfect match and then still, like, even with a perfect match, take these medications.
Well,
Like, just give me your freaking kidney, man.
I guess God didn't create us perfect.
Well, hey, you know what they do with kidneys too, right? You know, they usually just graft it onto the non-working kidney and just leave it there.
That's true.
Yeah, your third kidney's just in there now.
And then if that one doesn't work, they're like, all right, I'm going to slap another one in there.
So you just have 4 kidneys, which is insane that the average number of kidneys is higher than the average number of legs.
Huh.
But is it?
It is. The average number of legs per person is 1.97. I looked this up like 2 days ago. It's not 2.
I mean, naturally. Yeah.
because people are losing legs. Nobody's doing leg transplants. But sometimes when you get a kidney, you get it from a dead person. So there are more living kidneys
Oh my god.
than there are people. Like two, it's more than two. It's probably like 2.01 or 2.02.
I'm not sure if
but
I should be proud of you for this fact or not.
these are the things I think of when it's slow at work. I was not meant for corporate life.
Clearly.
All right, someone else. Let's move on. Justin, please.
All right. Okay. So I have two very wildly different but slightly related topics to talk about.
All right.
Go on.
Since Chris is probably going to get really political in a moment.
Oh, 1,000% I am.
I'm going to just ease us into it with everybody's least controversial subject. Donald Trump.
Are we talking about his indictment?
Actually, we're going to talk less so about Donald Trump, but more so about Judge Aileen.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
I'm about it.
So recently, she's like basically indefinitely delayed his trial for the classified documents case due to some fun best way we can describe it is illegal shenanigan. She's citing unresolved pre-trial issues. Basically what's happening is she was appointed by him and she's trying to delay the trial until after the election so that when he gets elected, he can just pardon himself. However,
Stupid.
I don't think he's going to get elected. But still vote.
I don't know, man.
Him,
I know
go, you go fall down toilet. The problem is,
he doesn't use toilets. That's the problem.
Well, yeah. I'm telling people to vote for him to fall down on toilet. But no, I really don't think he's going to win because I think their base is too fractured. The conservative base is too fractured for him to win.
And the
in my
liberal isn't?
opinion.
The liberal base is incredibly
The liberal base
fractured.
is also fractured, but also united by the common enemy.
I don't know.
I think I don't know. I do think that there is a path to victory for him, but I think that it is more unlikely than I felt it was in 2020. However, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, well,
We're all fucked. It is
oh
what
Canada,
it is.
oh Canada.
You got a really quick access up there, buddy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just right there, man. I
I'm-
got their smoke last year from the wildfires. They already owe me, so.
I'm booking
but
it
yeah.
down to Honduras.
Ooh, hey,
I'm out.
not a bad choice.
You're welcome to visit.
Hey, I'm all about traveling the world. But yeah, no, I just wanted to touch on the interesting predicament that we're in between like Aileen Cannon and like the stuff that's been going on with the Supreme Court, particularly Clarence Thomas and
all his bribes.
I'm sorry, they're not bribes. They are just gifts that do not sway his judgments in any way
How
whatsoever.
dare you, good sir?
But yeah,
That it's like the freaking super PAC loophole.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't receive gifts, money, drugs, prescriptions, like food even. Like I could not buy a senator a sandwich and ask him for a favor. But I can donate $1 billion to a super PAC that they can use for whatever they want, like golf lessons. Freaking Paul Ryan. Like they can use it for whatever they want.
Paul Ryan, he's from Wisconsin. Sorry. Anyway,
That's why I said that.
yeah. Well, he left shortly after I got here, so it worked out. It was because of me.
Good job.
I
Good
voted
job,
him
man.
out.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah. So no, I mean it's just interesting because we're in this like new era of rogue judges who we don't really have a system in place to deal with it.
Yeah.
And the standard to remove a judge is so high,
Yeah.
which I think it should be. But I think we also need new rules, new laws to deal with the things that we didn't really foresee. Like, so if a president commits a crime and then his case goes before a federal judge, as it should, and that judge happened to be appointed by him, like maybe we should just like not let that part happen.
Yeah.
That already seems like a potential conflict of interest right there. Because
Find a different
generally,
judge. Yeah.
generally a judge is going to be appointed by a president because the president feels like they align their views on. And so if a president is being accused of committing a crime that is motivated by said views, chances are the judge is going to agree with them and is going to complicate the issue.
I think we should have a fully impartial judge from a completely different country.
Mm. But even then, that can get messy. Like, I'm not disagreeing with, like, we should try to seek other options, but, like, you get one from, France, and it's like they're going to side with a certain party, or you side.
Well, have a French judge that, and for a lot of other countries, like find partnerships and like a treaty or some sort where there are judges in each country that are very well up to date on laws from other countries, like you would at an embassy.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Canada's probably our closest neighbor in that regard. But yeah, I think that we definitely need something in the place moving forward. It's like, it's honestly asinine, There's a point where she was like, her issues with the handling of classified documents, now they should be handled, and
Yeah.
and trying to get the witness list from Jack Smith to be given to the defense when Trump has a very well documented history of intimidating witnesses or just putting them on blast on social media so that people can say, I didn't tell people to go after them, they just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're really seeing the limits of our political system being tested lately.
Yeah, it's wild to think about how, like, I hear people, especially from the right, talk about, celebrate what our founding fathers did in creating the system that we had. And at the time, it was groundbreaking, and it was innovative, and it was, novel. However, times change and things evolve, and it is wild to see how we just kind of held on to those things, and how other countries in Europe, the ones that we separate ourselves from, evolved and changed. And yeah, they still have some of their flaws, but a lot of them, they have a pretty good system in place for certain things. You look at our tax system, it's you ask any European what they pay in taxes, and you kind of show them how we disperse taxes here in the U.S., and they're just boggled, because it's like, wait, you don't use your taxes to actually help people, kind of thing. Like, healthcare is not a thing, childcare is not a thing, and like, it's just wild to think about how we are in the U.S. just become stagnant. It's literally, we're not improving ourselves that much these days. And so whether it comes to our voting rights, whether it comes to how we choose our senators, and how we're underrepresented in the House, like, even if we were to hold some of the principles, like having a House and a Senate, then that's at least change the boundaries of how we're represented, having more representatives, so that way it actually represents more people, and just different things like that. It's mind-boggling to me how people are just so stuck on doing the same thing the same way over and over again, when it's like, that's the whole reason why we became a country, is because we were tired of doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. I think Thomas Jefferson himself said that we were supposed to revamp the government like every 19 years, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Like the Constitution? Yeah. Because, not that I'm going to say a lot of good things about any of our founding fathers.
No, they all suck.
But there was,
even Hamilton.
Not the fictional Hamilton. He's great.
God.
But, there's this foresight and this understanding that, the world is going to change. And now we have all of these like originalists who believe that if the founding fathers wouldn't have done it, or they don't intend it, like, no, we can't rule on it, or we're going to rule against it because it's not what the founding fathers intended. And it's like, yeah, these were guys who were floating around in the 1700s, they couldn't envision
Hey.
black people in office. So who gives a damn what they think? Like, no, it's asinine. Like a woman
Yeah.
in my government?
I think now would be a great time for us to play one of my favorite car ride games. Things that would blow a founding father's mind.
Well, even to that note, though,
this
Justin,
podcast,
well,
this podcast, right away.
Well, even to that note, like there's actually a quote from I think John Adams where he was talking about how, like basically, like we should like ban slavery. Like this is horrible. Like even people who were still bad people, like they had at least an understanding that slavery is bad. Like it's not like it was totally just absent from their minds. And I mean that in the sense of like that just proves just how stupid and like maybe not so good these people were. Like that it wasn't like it was completely out of their mind that you could free people or not have people enslaved based on the color of their skin. It existed. The idea existed, and they just chose not to.
What's crazy is I think that if slavery was around today, the slaves would never get emancipated because of the economic effects of losing a free workforce.
Entirely agreed.
Yeah, it's a solid point.
People would just rationalize it. I mean, I see it now. You know, when you start to talk about humanitarian crises, whatever. People often will come back at me, like, you know, when I'll bring up issues, they'll be like, well, like, why should we have to pay for it, or the economic impact of this? And I'm just like,
it all comes down to priorities.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so we should let people die instead of using our tax dollars to benefit humanity.
Yes, that's exactly what they believe.
And it's like, okay, cool. It's like, well, if you were like, well, I don't want to pay more in taxes. I'm like, well, first of all, you don't make enough money to pay more in taxes. Secondly, even if you did, you probably wouldn't feel the effects too bad. Thirdly, or we could just like not spend so much money on our military, and we'll still be the biggest military spender in the world.
I think I've figured it out. Yeah. America has done so much in other countries that would, like, America wouldn't stand for if other countries did it here, for sure. Yeah. That we feel like we have to keep spending that amount on our military, because if we don't, everybody's coming for retribution. That's the only thing that makes sense to me as to why we keep spending that way.
I mean, I think a lot of it too is just like the lack of, like, we don't have good processes in place. Like we have
a lack of oversight.
Yeah, the oversight is poor, but we also haven't fought a real war in since Korean War? Like
even that
everything. What?
Even that one wasn't one we needed.
But like, I mean, everything else has been like a
proxy
war against like against terrorists or insurgent. Like, so we have
drugs.
Yeah, but like there hasn't been a war that's been fought on like an equal playing field. You know, like the conflict between like Ukraine and Russia right now, it's like we're seeing warfare play out in a way that we haven't really seen because of technology and both sides having access to, you know, advanced technology.
Yeah.
TikTok, but like the way we're seeing drones being used, like small drones, not those big predator drones, but like tiny drones being used to deliver bombs, and it's changed the way that, you know, attacks can happen. Yeah. Like taking out a tank with a tiny little drone that costs you $350. Like that's a pretty good return on your investment.
Right.
So like everything has shifted, but we haven't had to deal with any of that. We just pump out money to send more guns and bullets to Afghanistan, you know, and yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's just I saw someone on TikTok the other day talk about how it really just comes down to a principle of priorities. Is where are your priorities? We have so many programs in this country that do benefit people, but we just prioritize different things over others. So the question is, what is your priority? We have the money to eliminate, you know, child hunger. We have the money to eliminate
homelessness.
Yeah, we have that. We have the funds.
We have the money and the absolute control to stop sending missiles to stupid people.
Agree.
Yeah, but we won't make money if we do that.
Well, and that's really all it comes down to is just we just gotten to this point of where we allow kind of Chris, you were kind of alluding to here is that we allow donations and people to donate to political figures, and that alone, it's literally bribery. It's literally that. And that's why U.S. and Biden is sending $1 billion worth of arms to Ukraine, or excuse me, to Israel. So I guess we're going there now, but it's just, it's
That's fine. That was going to be my topic.
I know it was. It is mind-boggling to me because I know what Biden's doing here, and I know what the Democrats are doing here. They're playing. Maybe we'll win the conservatives over with this. Maybe this is how we'll combat that. And it's like I feel like for every person that's somewhat maybe considering Biden, they're losing like 10 more people who supported him in the last election.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
absolutely.
think that that's the motive behind Israel, though. Like,
I mean,
I
along
think
with
that,
the money that Israel is
No,
providing. But
So here's my point of view on Israel. Since this was going to be my topic, I've looked into it a little bit. I think the U.S. expects to have a foothold in the Middle East, the same way they have a foothold in Africa, the same way they have a foothold in Central and South America, the same way they have a foothold in Europe. They want to have a foothold in the Middle East. And Israel is that foothold for them. They send missiles, they send money, they send weapons, they send soldiers even to join with the IDF and do joint missions and blah, 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 blah. They build this really tight partnership with Israel because Israel is a country that they can latch on to and garner support from their Christian base. Left or right, doesn't matter. Growing up, you always, being in the church, you're taught, the country that blesses Israel will be blessed by God. I've heard senators say, don't you want to be blessed by God? Like, quote, unquote, they said those words. Like, first of all, that shouldn't be a thing in politics at all. Like, that should not be a reason for anything, but it is. But they'll send all that money. They don't care what their citizens are doing, though, because having that foothold in the Middle East is how they get whatever they want out of the Middle East. Mainly oil. Israel is bombing and attacking Palestine right now, wiping the people out of the Gaza Strip entirely. Recently, they have found that there is a shit ton of oil right underneath the Gaza Strip. Convenient, right? So
I'm sure that's not
Israel,
at all related.
Israel gets what they want, which is an ethnic. I shouldn't say Israel. The Israeli government gets what they want, which is an ethnic cleansing of all Palestinians out of the land. And America gets what they want, which is mineral rights to whatever Israel finds in Gaza. It's a win-win for the governments of Israel and America. And all it costs is, 2 million lives? Most of which being children. America doesn't care. It's
just
all
a little
about
white
profit.
genocide in the name of prosperity.
It's all about profit. And the fact that Israel's government is still clinging to this idea of, it's self-defense. Like, this is a, 35,000 person quote-unquote terrorist cell, which Israel created, by the way. That's a whole other issue. But they attacked a music festival and I think killed, 300 dead and or wounded people entirely at a music festival that was done by a couple of thousand quote-unquote terrorists. And then Israel, the government of Israel, decided, hey, that's not cool. Self-defense. We're going to kill all of Hamas, which they created as a political party to help dissidents so that the Palestinian people didn't come together as one unit. They created Hamas as a political party. I don't know if you guys knew that. Israel did that. They funded it.
That sounds like, our relationship with Osama bin Laden.
Oh, yeah. That does sound familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like maybe they learned it from somewhere. Anyway, they started Hamas in Palestine. And then Hamas finally got tired of being called terrorists and being pushed under Israel's thumb. So they fought back, which again, side note, how long do you just take oppression before you fight back? Because at minimum, it's been 75 years. And then once they fought back, Israel's like, oh no, self-defense. Let's eradicate all of them. But we're not going to let the world know that's what we're doing. We're going to drop leaflets and tell them, hey, evacuate to this place. We're going to make phone calls and say, hey, your house is being targeted next. Make sure you get out in the next 2 minutes. And these people are literally running for their lives. They leave their homes, they go to a different town, and they gather there and in their friends' houses and in office buildings and schools and hospitals, wherever they can. And then Israel decides, you know what, fuck that. We're going to bomb those hospitals and those schools. We're going to bomb everybody in that area too. So again, the people that can get out, run. The people that don't, just fucking die. And then they run to wherever they can, and it happens again and again and again until they get to Rafah, which is literally bordered by Egypt and the ocean. They have nowhere else to go. And this whole time, Israel is just saying, hey, there's terrorists there. We're going to take them out too. So we're just going after the terrorist. And, fuck everybody else that gets in our way. But they have no proof of terrorists. They have no proof that who they claim they're targeting is anywhere near there. They can't vet the terrorists from the civilians, so they're just going to keep bombing and bombing and bombing. And now they're going to have a ground invasion and start at the north of Rafah and just work their way south until these people are literally crushed between the Israeli army and Egypt protecting its own borders, which Egypt has every right to do, sure. It sucks that they're doing it, but they are. They can't just take in all refugees because that's how things happen. But they're taking in what they can because they have nowhere else to go. And Israel just keeps bombing them, and the U.S. just keeps supporting them, regardless of what these kids on the college campuses are saying. I say kids, what adults on college campuses are saying, what voters are saying, what TikTok people are saying, what celebrities now are saying since they're losing all of their followers because they haven't said anything. Like, they don't give a fuck what the citizenry says. They're going to continue supporting a genocide, an actual genocide. The UN has said this is a genocide. However, the U.S., being one of the massive money holders in the UN, is able to veto anything the UN says. So that doesn't matter either. And if something isn't done for Palestine, all of these people are going to die. These are human lives that nobody gives a fuck about because they're not bringing in money. And Israel is guaranteed to bring the U.S. money. That's what it is. It's all money over people. And I fucking hate it here. I did not mean to go on a rant like that, but I fucking hate it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man,
And
I don't
then,
even know what to follow that up with.
and then on top of all of that, you still have some people in the U.S. that support Israel because of their religious upbringing or their right-leaning political stances. And I kind of understand, like, if you're Jewish heritage yourself, or if you follow Judaism as a religion, or even Christianity, and you just don't know, like, I kind of get it. But at what point do you say that the Israeli government is not the Jewish people, and the Israeli government is murdering innocent lives? There are Jewish people at these protests. And yes, protests that are pro-Palestine can sometimes seem anti-Jewish, but they're not anti-Jewish, they're anti-Israeli government. People aren't getting murdered in Israel the way they are in Palestine.
Yeah.
It all goes back to the BLM as far as like America's concerned, it goes back to the BLM protests. Like, yes, things can be bad for other people, but this is the house that's on fire right now.
Right.
This is the house that needs the water. This is the house that needs the attention.
But also, I feel like the BLM protest, it's like, oh no, there was violence in this one particular situation.
Yeah,
so
and it's
they're
like
all bad. They're all violent.
even with these protests, like BLM protests, I think the final statistics were like 97% were peaceful. With the pro-Palestine, it's like 99.8% are peaceful. And the ones that aren't, there's like 2 or 3 people that are on the pro-Palestine side that are getting a little out of hand. And then the police come in and it becomes a riot because the police are there.
Yeah.
The police have never done anything good. So ACAB, first of all.
Sorry, side tangent, related to this. There's a New York police chief who's on MSNBC showing bike locks and saying these are the locks of agitators. This isn't what your average student is bringing to school.
Oh, no. I saw that.
And
Those are the actual like college campus suggested locks.
Yeah, it's
on
the
the
kryptonite
website.
but like the kryptonite bike locks is actually literally their New York lock because it's super hard to cut through. It takes a lot of time, and it's hard to pick.
Yeah,
as my lock picking fun.
That's the one that NYPD and the college campuses suggest you buy.
And then
like
now
you
they're
can
like,
buy
oh,
them
if you see
directly
people with these
from the
locks,
college.
yeah, or from your local Walmart.
Right.
It's a very common.
It's all misinformation, lies, and propaganda. And people don't realize they are choking on fucking propaganda. The biggest issue I have with all of this, though, is the people here that still somehow support Israel. And Tim, we were talking about this earlier. Like, for me, it boils down to 2 things. You're either a truly evil person that does not care about human life, or you are ignorant. And it has to be willful ignorance at this point because there's too much information out there. You cannot not know unless you are choosing to not know. I've had discussions with people on the other side of this issue from me that usually we're on the same side. So I was curious as to why they are on the side they are. And it boils down to the narrative that's being pushed right now is if you are pro-Palestine, you are anti-Semitic, which is like one of the worst things you can be in this world. After the Holocaust, nobody wants to be correlated with Nazis. Nobody wants to be anti-Semitic.
Right.
But that is an intentional narrative pushed by the Israeli government, that anything you say or do against their government is inherently anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic.
As if there is not a difference between the government and the Jewish culture and the
Exactly. And you can see it in like street interviews when somebody's like, "Well, are you pro-Palestine or are you pro-Israel?" It's like, you can be pro-Palestine and pro-Israel, anti-Zionist, which is exactly what I am. The Israeli people deserve a safe homeland. The Palestinians do also deserve a safe homeland. And they can coexist because it's been done before. But for whatever reason, Netanyahu and the Israeli government have decided, nope, they're going to take over everything. And they're going to kill anybody that stands in their way. And anybody that just might be in their way later on as well. Just get rid of all the Palestinians and everything will be fine.
I do want to push back slightly on the willful ignorance part, mostly because I had some interactions with some people who I used to know from previous religious systems in the past week, and just like noticing like how deeply ingrained it can be to reject the reality that's like going on around you. It's like, I don't know. I feel like for so many people, it's not like a willful ignorance as much as like just a product of the system that they're in, and they may not have the tools to critically about it.
And that I think that's where it comes down to, is there's a lack of tools of how do you critique things, because it's same in my mindset. It's the same way how Christians and people on the right wing are so in this subject especially. They'll be, let's support the Jewish people, let's support the Israels, but then they were also aligned. A lot of their alignments are with the far right people like the neo-Nazis, and they can't draw that connection because of how their culture has been brought up and because of the media and the propaganda. Neo-Nazis to them has nothing to do, Nazism has nothing to do with right-wing politics, but it's literally almost a part of what Nazism is. It's a right wing, it's fascism. It's literally as far right as you can get. And they don't have that connection because they don't have the tools to understand them. And so I kind of get what you're saying. It's like there is a sense of, if you don't have the tools or the means to understand everything, then it's twofold. Yes, you can take time to explore, but if you don't know to explore or how to explore, then it's kind of like you're held up to your own devices. It's the same way that, you know, you have people in different countries who are brought up in extremism and they don't know that it's extreme. People that are brought up in cults that don't realize that they're in cults.
Look, I understand what you guys are saying. I do. And maybe it's just the autism that my sense of justice just does not allow me to understand why you wouldn't care. But to me, there's too much information out there for you to be able to say, oh, I didn't know that this was happening.
But you're choosing to follow that information. My point is that those people don't know how to choose that information.
But these people are begging for their lives. It should not be hard to say genocide is bad.
But they don't know that. They don't think that's genocide. That's not in their vocabulary for that. That's not how they are processing this.
And that's what's not clicking for me. Like,
yeah, it's
I don't
like
get it.
Oh, no, I totally understand. It's like, I feel like for some people, they don't make decisions for themselves. Like there was a church network I was involved in where pretty much their motif was you have to agree with leadership on everything. And if you don't, you're out. They would legitimately kick people out of the church.
That's a big thing for a lot of churches, especially in
so it's like when you have a small group of people telling you what is and isn't right, and that's become the norm for you, you just don't know how to think critically about it.
Right.
Like knowing a lot of people have come out of that church network, which totally going to touch on that on a future episode because it's insanity. Like, it's like you see people's stories. It's like a learning process of learning how to. It's like growing up in a sense. It's like you have to learn how to be independent again. Of like, oh wait, I can't this person or system make choices and decisions for me because I feel intrinsically that they're wrong, but I'm being told that they're not. And, you know, and I think that's the struggle a lot of people have when it comes to things like this, where it's like when they're confronted with information, there's this cognitive dissonance of like, oh, wait, you're talking about genocide and all these people are being killed. And but what my political party or my religious people, my whoever is telling me is that that's not happening. So I'm going to just believe the one that is safe.
Yeah.
I understand that. Like on a base level, I understand that is what is happening. But it doesn't register for me how that can happen. Like on a also political but less so note, like when I was growing up, I was brought up in an evangelical church. That's evangelical Christian. But when I started realizing like, hey, this church isn't treating my gay friends the way it should be. Like that for me was a moment where my cognitive dissonance was taken over by the reality I saw.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is wrong.
But if your brain is established to think a certain way, then you, even if you are told the facts, you don't comprehend it.
That's where I think it is the autism for me. Like, because a side note, one of the side effects, or whatever you want to call it, one of the signs of autism is a strong sense of justice.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that for a second? Like,
Okay.
fuck
Okay,
off, man.
so-
Like, right and wrong should not be a mental disorder.
wait. Okay, but I want to. So actually, I was reading something about that. Was there something like popped up like this week on like TikTok or something like that about it? I don't know why this is also in my brain, because I have a nephew who is autistic, and same, but being that he is, I say a child, he's 18, but being that he is a child, sometimes the logic just doesn't always get there. And it's funny to
Yes.
me because it's like, he is just like if he does something wrong, he is so intent on like making it right, because it's this like sense of like, oh, I have to fix this, I have to balance the scales. It's like whole sense of justice. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, for example, like he broke something and he's like, well, he's like, well, I have to pay you back for it, like to like my sister. And it's just like, no, I just need you to not break stuff. Like, and his brain trying to rationalize that, where it's like, hey, this is like the lesser consequence for you. And he's like, but no, I
It's
have
not
to.
the right one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's not how it goes. You break something, you pay for it. You kill people, you suffer for your genocidal thoughts. Like it's a 1-for-1 thing with us. I fully understand that.
It's funny to me. He might actually listen to this episode, so
Tell him I said hi.
And we should probably end this soon, but like that's, to me, just shows just how much these boxes play effect in not just in individuals, but a movement and in people. You know, you look at the religious right; they are totally encompassed and captured and embellished in this mindset of certain values and dogmas, and it's hard to get out of. It's hard to get out of. I mean, I believed in a 6,000-year-old Earth for a very long time. I believed that people in the LGBTQ were going to hell, and I believed these things for a long time. And you couldn't convince me with facts. It wasn't facts that convinced me. It was people that convinced me. It was stories that convinced me. And it was choosing to sympathize with people. And unfortunately, in my personal experience, I believe the American Evangelical Church doesn't do that. It is built on capitalism. It is built on profit. It is built on what benefits them here and now, just like the American government system.
What benefits the people in power.
Correct. And anything that gets in the way of that is thrown away and is viewed as satanic or demonic. And so until we
like, you know, the devil put them dinosaur bones in the ground.
Bro, I'm telling you, like looking at how I was raised, the way that some of that stuff, like, I fully believed as a child, but like the things that they taught me that I did take to heart, you know, love your neighbor, love God before everyone else, and then love your neighbor. You know, be kind to the outcast, all the stuff that we're supposed to do biblically, the things that you would learn from actually reading the Bible. The Satanic Church is doing way better than the Christian Church.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a woman I follow on TikTok. Her name is Brittany something, but she like has a theology or a degree in theology and super smart. But anyways, this Christian influencer on TikTok decided to bash one of her videos, and she made a point of like saying, it's incredible to me how like the people who so love or say they love Jesus don't seem to like follow the simple basic principles of loving your neighbor and like don't judge others and these different things. And it's because there is a dogma, and it is no longer aligned with who Jesus is or whatever the New Testament teaches. It is everything to do with their culture and what their political system says.
There's a song that I think actually got sent to you as well, Tim. I don't know if you saw it on TikTok, but it was "Who Would Jesus Bomb?"
Oh, yeah.
And that song speaks so truthfully about the Christian church these days. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
But like you said, this is a much larger topic that requires more than our podcast time has. If you want to talk to any of us, please send me a message. I'll be the one to go over anything you have questions about. Trust me, I'm very well versed in what's going on now. Maybe not the history of the land, but what's happening at the moment, I know a lot about from firsthand experience. I've watched those videos of mothers pulling their children out of the rubble and weeping.
Yeah.
During the break earlier, I was crying about it because that's all I can do at this time. But if you see like a GoFundMe for a family, especially if you're looking like Operation Olive Branch, they are vetting families, making sure these are real people that need genuine help. Please donate if you can. Other than that, I think we should probably talk about something a little lighter.
Well, good advice, Chris. Yeah, there's no easy way to transition out of that, so we're just gonna move forward.
Just ram through it like a wall.
Ram through
like you're
it.
the Kool-Aid man and there's a wall
Full
there.
send.
Oh, yeah.
Should I end this with one more story, or should we just move on to the?
Please.
All right, one more story.
Just a quick one.
All right. This is one that you guys will like. Tokyo police arrest Yakuza. Is that how you pronounce it? Yakuza.
Yeah.
Leader for stealing 25 Pokemon trading cards.
Okay, but being in the Yakuza, like, you've got all the cards, right?
So, Japan's once mighty Yakuza, notorious figures in organized crime, has seemingly fallen on hard times. Tokyo police recently arrested a high-ranking member of the, I can't pronounce that one, Tokinagawa gang, part of the country's second-largest Yakuza syndicate. I'm so not pronouncing any of these words.
If you would put them in the notes, I could help you.
I know you could.
I read Japanese.
It's true. But his crime was stealing Pokemon cards. Yakuza, the Japanese equivalent of like mafiosos or gangsters, was once a powerful force in organized crime. Their membership peaked in the 1960s at over 180,000. In 2013, U.S. regulators assisted Japan in cracking down on the Yakuza by targeting their finances. So, Sora News 24 reported that Kita Saito, a 39-year-old Yakuza leader, or Kanbu?
Spell it.
KNBU.
KNBU?
Mm-hmm.
Kanbu?
Was apprehended in late April for his involvement in a December 2022 petty theft involving stolen items worth 250 yen, including 25 Pokemon trading cards.
I'm sorry, did you say 250 yen?
Yes.
That's like $1, dude.
No, that
That's-
is no. That is equivalent to 1,297 pounds, which is about $1,000.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
250 yen?
252,000.
Okay.
Oh, that
Yeah,
you left up
1,000 yen.
1,000 parts.
You just said
Sorry,
250.
2,000. Sorry.
I was like, 250 yen is like $1, dude. That's not
like a
even
quarter.
close. It's not even close.
I was like, wait, what? Like, what did he steal? A single Pokemon card?
No, it would have just had to have been like the bottom right 10th of a Pokemon card.
So while he denies the charges, while Saito confesses to burglary and theft, authorities are searching for 2 additional accomplices recruited online for the crime. Kobushita can be seen in his mugshot, while Saito, with his unassuming demeanor, looks like someone you might expect to see entering a Pokemon gift card tournament. And that is the end of this story.
The only comment I have is
Only
that
one.
you said former Yakuza, like the former power of the Yakuza.
Correct?
I would dare say that they are still just as, if not more so, powerful
Show your work.
than in the 60s. I cannot show my work because those kinds of people are running the government the same way that Italian mobsters ran the government in the 40s and
Sounds
50s.
a little cultish, my friend.
No. It's not cultish. You can look it up now about
Well, show your work then.
like the mafia running the government of the U.S. for a while. It won't be available until much later on.
Well, I guess we'll find out then.
Look, Tim, one of us is immersed in Japanese culture and the other one's not, all right?
All right, guys, we don't have time for these debacle to these arguments. We're gonna move on here. We're gonna end this main segment here, and then when we come back, we got some what ifs to talk about. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back, and we are going to end this episode by talking about some what ifs and maybe some fun times. Are you guys okay with that?
I need some fun times. Let's do this.
What
I've
if?
never had fun in my life.
What if I saw this on Reddit. What if we're the youngest and most recent intelligent species in the universe, and all of the rest of them have already died out? What if we finally make our way out of there only to find out that all other civilizations have ended and the golden age of interstellar travel and trade is over? We are the last intelligent beings left, and we've already missed out on our chance for contact.
I think a lot of scientists would be sad, but it wouldn't make any impact on the average person.
I mean, yeah. I also think about the inverse of that a lot. Like,
What if we're
you
the
know,
first
like-
ones?
yeah, like
That's
if,
what I
like,
think
there's-
about.
There's like, what if there's like, you know, like physically aliens make sense. Like, yeah, that's true. But what if we're first? What if we are the most intelligent species in the galaxy, or
What if we're the
Not
first
the-
contact?
the most technologically developed? At which point, it's like, yeah, we'll never see any other species, because chances are, if there is another species of sentient life out in the galaxy,
Yeah.
they don't look like us.
Right.
Also, probably we're dying a lot faster than they are.
I mean, I saw someone someone commented on the Reddit says like sounds like the universe needs some freedom.
That is the plot of Helldivers.
You're saying there's oil on Alpha Centauri planet B?
Like, you just got to export capitalism to the galaxy.
Sir. Sir, calm down.
Manifest Destiny 2.0. Let's go.
Like aliens show up and they're like, we're here to share our knowledge. We're like, what are you charging for that? What do you mean charging? It's like, oh, you can sell your knowledge instead of sharing it. What do you mean sell?
Now we'll take it, we'll kill them, and then we'll sell it to the other species.
There you go. There you go. All right. What if number 2? So this is actually based off a news story. So I want to read the news story first. So a money mystery in Marysville has police trying to figure out where some money was found. More than $25,000 was found in the restroom of the Avalon Theater on Saturday. This is in, where is this at? I'm not sure where this is. I didn't actually read where they came from. Oh, Ohio, Marysville, Ohio. And then Thursday night, more than $12,000 was found in the restroom at a KFC restaurant on Delaware Avenue. Investigators say they're pretty sure the discoveries are related, but still don't know where the cash came from.
Who's just losing this money?
The bills were found in multiple denominations, like 5, 10s, and even $100 bills. Police are urging anyone who might find other cash dumps to contact them.
Sounds like a really bad drug dealer.
I was going to ask two questions here. What if you found $40,000? Would you return it? Would you keep it? Because I feel like $40,000 is in that middle ground of you're not sure if this is drug money or if this is a plant kind of money. Like the government is tracking this kind of thing. Like, is this mafia money or is this like someone stole a bank and just trying to get out in a quick moment? Like, what is happening here? It's not like one huge amount or not.
If I found this money and no one was around to see me find this money, no one would fucking know that I found that money.
But like, I mean,
Not a soul.
You hold
Here's
it.
the thing. Here's
you
the thing.
Sit on it for a
The
while.
money, even the container the money was in, wouldn't come with me.
Nope.
There
you
would
leave
be
that.
There would be no evidence of that money. I would slow roll that money so hard. Like, it'd be like, oh, I can track your bills. It's like, well, you find bills in 42 different states. Like, no, man. Like, I would slow roll that so hard. Like, nobody ever know.
100%. Nobody would know. I don't even think Janelle would know. Janelle would be like, weirdly enough, all of our debt is paid and we have nicer things now.
Yeah. And it's not because you want to keep a secret from your partner. It's because
nobody can be trusted.
Nah, man, plausible deniability.
If I don't tell Janelle, she won't be able to tell the police.
And it's not you that you don't trust her. You just don't want to put her in that position.
Why would I give her the ammunition to hurt herself?
And my second question is this has to be like, I think you brought it up, Chris. It's got to be a drug deal gone wrong.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's spread out. It's like just random bills and everything. It doesn't sound like a bank.
Now, that being said, I would watch the news and police reports and Facebook accounts just to see if like anybody was missing it. If in their desperation, they're like, please, that was my down payment for my house or whatever. Like, I'd keep an eye out. But like 2-3 months in, I'd start slow rolling for sure.
Oh, no. It would be at least a year for me. Like, long enough that if anybody suspected me, they wouldn't suspect me. Probably 2, maybe 3. Because I could sit on all my debt for that long. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, like
I'm paying my bills.
I make enough money to cover my bills. I'm not like super comfortable, but I'm all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I could hold on to that money for a couple of years. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Nobody, not even you, Tim, would ever know that I found that money.
Oh, I would know.
You would not know.
I would know.
I promise you, you would not know. I'll tell you a whole lot of things, Tim. Look,
All of a sudden, I'll
listen,
start getting
listen, hold
additions to the
on. No,
Plex
listen.
server, and it won't be from me. It'll be from Chris, and I'll know exactly where it's
Listen,
coming from.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. I would tell you that I got a poop transplant before I found that money. I would be like, hey, Tim, I got a poop transplant. And you would be like, wow, that's something I will judge you for the rest of your life. And then you'd be like, hey, man, I heard that somebody found $40,000. What do you think about that? I'd be like, that's crazy.
Exactly.
$40,000. You sure it wasn't 40,526? That's crazy. Not a soul.
All right, last what if for the night. What if one villain from one of the comic book universes switched to the other? Who would do the best and who would do the worst?
I have the correct answer, so I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Okay. I'm interested to see who your correct answers are. I think it will be funny to see Paste Pot Pete go up against Batman. No, actually, no. I take that back. Not Batman. Nightwing, because he would be funny about it. He would do the worst. Absolutely, 100% the worst. He'd be like, "All right, I got this," and then 2.5 seconds later, he's done. He's already a joke in the Marvel universe, and he'd be more of a joke in Gotham.
You sure?
Or
Because
Blood.
I'm thinking Booster Gold going into the Marvel universe, facing Magneto would be like the worst. The worst possible. Like literally half a second, Magneto just done.
The problem is most people fighting Magneto, it's going to be a very short
Yeah.
fight. The man
True.
is Omega level. He is top tier damage dealer. Like, do not fight. Do not pass go.
Immediately run away.
Pray, because you can't run fast enough. As for who would do the best, that's a tough question.
I have the answer.
I know it's just like easy pickings here, but like literally, if Doomsday and Thanos switched, Doomsday would do significantly better in Marvel than
Doomsday?
or not Doomsday.
Darkseid?
Sorry, Darkseid. Darkseid would do significantly better in Marvel than Thanos would do in DC.
100%.
I disagree.
Do you?
What?
Yeah.
Do you really? What? Darkseid?
Hear me out. Hear me out. This is my logic behind that.
Okay, I'm ready for
The
it.
DC universe heroes are all god tier.
They're all Thanos's. Or excuse me, they're all Thor's. Like they're all
god tier heroes. The Marvel heroes are made intentionally to be more relatable to us, more humanistic, more like base level. If you were to take most heroes out of Marvel and put them in DC, they'd be like B tier heroes instead of A tier.
most.
I'm going to disagree
And
there
it's
because
the same with their villains.
If you take away the X-Men,
okay, first of all,
No, even
X-Men's a
using
big
the
chunk.
X-Men.
I know I'd give
mean-
them a better chance with.
Phoenix alone, but
Yeah, exactly, that's my point.
but let's like you've got like I'd say Nova and Captain Marvel alone would probably like mop the floor with like half the DC universe.
Okay, Superman.
Like Superman,
Superman
Superman.
solos anyone.
And that's my point. Like, you put Superman and Thanos. I mean, Superman's going to win that so easy.
Like if you talk physical contest, he's going to beat most people. He might lose to Sentry, but in an actual contest, he would just talk Sentry down because he's Superman.
Yeah.
But like he would lose to Thor. That's
Superman
pretty much
would lose to Thor?
Thor's magic.
Thor in the comics, absolutely 100%.
Thor's magic. That's
one
of two weaknesses Superman has is magic and kryptonite.
I don't think he's even magic though. But he killed Galactus, like one-shotted him. And Galactus is like a universal constant. Like it's like Thor's currently on another level that's unreasonable. But also Scarlet Witch would just be like, you don't exist. Goodbye. Peace out. Like,
I mean,
know,
at that same logic though, Dr. Fate could handle them.
Oh, Dr. Fate would get murdered by Scarlet Witch.
You think so?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that. Dude. The problem is him in the helmet. So the first one that we encounter in the comics, Kent Nelson, him in the helmet, the spirit of, yeah, they're always at odds with each other. The current Dr. Fate, he's even.
I'm talking Zantana's dad.
Oh, that's Zatara.
Zatara, thank you.
He'd still lose. He'd still lose.
I don't think so.
I think that the only magic user in the DC universe who would hold a candle to Scarlet Witch would honestly be Raven.
That would be fun.
Oh, with Trigon's boost, yeah.
And a close second would be Constantine. I'd say Constantine will win because he's sneaky. But in terms of actual, and he's also willing to do whatever it takes.
Constantine with Dr. Fate's helmet could solo Scarlet Witch. But hear me out. My thing on that one. I think the villain.
Lords of Order don't like him.
I think the villain that would do the best switching universes would be Zod into the Marvel universe.
Oh God. I mean, but
why?
You're playing the same vein as
Evil
like Darkseid.
Superman.
What?
Evil Superman with combat training.
Sure.
Yeah.
The only reason Superman beat Zod is because he had a desire to protect what he's known his entire life.
He also had a power and more experience with his powers.
This is all new to Zod. But Zod, with any kind of time to experience his powers, his new powers, added to his combat training, throw him into the Marvel universe, which is still under a yellow sun. He solos 90% of the universe by himself. And if he can bring his army, it's game over.
He lose to Doom.
To whom?
Who?
Doom. Dr. Doom.
That's a villain versus villain though. That's not where. I mean, I get what you're saying.
I don't think so.
It's complicated. He's the ruler. He's a hero to his people.
Okay, President Lex Luthor. Okay, like
no, you have to remember.
He was also Iron Man for a short time.
You have to remember one thing: heat vision from the stratosphere. You think Zod is going to spend time trying to go toe-to-toe with Doom? No. He's going to snipe him with his heat vision. And Doom's not going to see it coming.
Doom will see it coming. That's the problem. Doom is like evil Reed Richards, basically. That's not true. There is an evil Reed Richards. He's the maker. He's way worse.
Zod is a combat-proven
that's who would
general.
do the most damage.
He knows who to take
the
out
DC
first.
universe would be the maker. Evil Reed Richards. He would absolutely decimate the DC universe.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, him versus Brainiac, though?
No.
When Brainiac took over Lex Luthor?
There's a current storyline called House of Brainiac going on right now in DC Comics, and Brainiac's, he's like, not holding back. It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. Buy comics. Keep them alive.
Amen. All right, guys. Well, I think on that note, it's a good place to end.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Yeah. Just remember, trust in Doom.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Any final thoughts for this episode, guys?
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Donate.
Don't get poop transplant.
Definitely don't do that. Don't do that, please. And if you do that, don't tell us.
I have a weird knack for
Actually,
finding the
you have to
stupidest
tell us now at
articles
this
ever.
point.
Tell the others. Don't tell me.
Also, if there's any like weird.
Speaking of
mind-blowing
willful
stuff, so to
ignorance,
speak.
I would rather live in willful ignorance of your poop transplants.
Please tell Chris.
Don't tell.
Send
Don't
him a
tell
message.
Chris. For the love of God, don't tell Chris.
Side note, before we end this episode, guys, we may not be back for a few weeks because in 2 weeks' time, it'll be Jordan Tier's wedding. And so we will see how this goes with us recording. We will attempt to get another episode in time and ready for that, but we will see what happens when that comes. But an early congratulations to Jordan Tier for their wedding. We will all be joining in on that day, so we'll probably post some stuff and who knows, maybe even bring a small little microphone to share.
It'll be the first time all of us will have been in the same location.
Same
since starting
place.
this.
Yeah.
That's right.
Stoked about
Yeah.
that.
We got to do something. We got to at least take a picture.
Yeah, we got to do a picture. Very least.
Very
Sweet.
least.
All right. I'm down. We'll have sweet hangs in my house.
Oh, dude. We should have an after party at your house.
We should totally have an after
An
party.
after
at my
party,
house.
a wedding after party.
Yes.
No, just not for Jordan and Tier. They're gonna.
Yeah, I'm like,
their
they
own
won't
after
You
party.
should nut them.
Yeah, no, I'll bring my girlfriend. It'll be great.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
I'll bring myself. All right, guys. On that note, we're going to end this episode here to... God. We're going to end this episode. Thank you guys all again for listening, for being a part of the conversation. And don't forget to follow us on all the social media platforms such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other ones at Always More Pod. Christopher, where can we find you?
I am on Instagram as Captain_CT Ford and TikTok as @Christopher.Lionheart.
Justin, where can we find you?
I am everywhere as Justin is Theory.
And you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everything else at Timothy Licky. It's LIECHTY. Thank you all again for listening and for being part of the conversation. And remember, there is always more than this. Bye, everyone.
Free Palestine.